Hello and welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Happy that you're joining us today. You're joining us for another APH Excel Academy. Today's topic for all of you joining us today is going to be Skills for High School Success Part 2. Oops, I think I had the wrong slide up there. Got the wrong slide up there. I'm sorry. Yeah, our Excel Academy today is going to be Skills You Can Use Part 2, a basic food preparation. And our teacher today, that's going to be our guest teacher, is Tyson Field. Today's session is actually for 6th graders and older, but anyone is welcome to join us for today. So again, thank you for joining us this Saturday afternoon. We're happy to have you here. Again, you're joining us for APH Excel Academy. Topic for today is going to be Skills You Can Use Part 2, Basic Food Preparation Skills. Again, I'd like to welcome Tyson Field, our instructor for today. Go ahead, Tyson.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm super excited to go over this today. It was fun last week going over some food-related topics with the kitchen. Now, today is going to be really exciting. Just as a reminder before we get started, if you will be unmuting yourself, please make sure you have a quiet background and only do so when prompted. Mostly we'll be using the chat, so feel free to enter your responses in the chat whenever asked to do so. So let me go ahead and share our PowerPoint. Okay, so just as mentioned, today is skills you can use. And we will be going over basic food prep. And so I want to start off with kind of like the overall theme for this. The theme for this is, what is your game plan? What's your plan for cooking? How are you going to get things done? So the learning objectives for this lesson that I want to make sure that everyone can understand or be able to do by the end of this is that I can make food prep action steps. Second one, I can use a recipe to help me create a food prep action plan. I can describe 2 methods for measuring and pouring accurately. I can contain my mess while measuring and pouring. Okay, so let's get a start on those objectives. What is a cooking action plan? So this cooking action plan is a plan for how you will get and stay organized. And it also will include the techniques that you're planning on using while you're cooking to make sure that you can be effective. And probably one of the most important steps or parts of an action plan is that it's the steps that you make to help you accomplish what you're doing. So let's get started. How well can you create a food prep action plan? I want everyone to rate themselves on how well you think that you can do this. And if you're not live, I want you to do this as well. I want you to write it down or think about the number that you would give yourself. So how well can you create a food prep action plan? Rate yourself. 1, I have no idea how or what one is, or up to a 4, I am a pro and I can rock this independently. Where is everybody? Good, I'm seeing some 4s. I'm seeing some 1s and 2s. Perfect. Let's move on. All right, so before we really even get into making our action plan or our game plan, we need to check on a few things. These are some problem areas that I often see in the residences where I work, and they can be pretty problematic when you have this great plan made and you're ready to cook, but some of these things can really just nail you and make things not go as smoothly as you'd like. So here's some things you might want to check on before making your game plan. So ask yourself, do I have all the ingredients and supplies I need? Or do I need to make a trip to the store and go get those things? What does my food prep area look like? Are the tables clear of clutter, or do you have yesterday's dinner still out there, your dirty dishes? Did grandma leave her dentures on the table? I don't know. What's on the table? Is a sink full of dishes, pots, pans, whatever else? Is that going to be easily accessible while you're cooking and preparing food? Are the supplies I need dirty? Can't cook if it's dirty. Doesn't work very well. Is my food prep, or is my food in a ready to prepare state? So is it like frozen? Do I need to thaw it out in the microwave? Or, did I need to pull it out yesterday before I started cooking? How is my food ready or prepared? Is it already cut, or do I need to make part of my plan to cut the food or whatever it is I'm making? Is the food cooked, or is it pre-cooked? And lastly, you might want to think about, do I know where everything is before I start cooking? And am I missing other information that I need to know? Is there something about this cooking task that I am not sure about? Okay, so game plans help you know these things. They're going to help you know what tools I'll be using, what food and ingredients I will be using, what needs to be done, what techniques I will use, how I can keep my messes small and contained, how long will it take to prepare and do each step, what steps will be faster than others, and do some foods cook faster than others as part of this. So that's really important with the steps, is prioritizing those steps of what needs to be done first. Like, is it going to take me longer to cook the meat or microwave the vegetables? So you might want to think about starting maybe the meat first, because that takes a little bit longer, and then do the vegetables later, so you can have things all done at the same time. Another thing would be, what should I do? Again, along with that, what should I do first, second, third, and so on? So let's go over a few basic steps to making an action plan. Now, while we go over these steps, I want you to think about which step you need the most. With your current level of cooking, how well you're preparing food, where are you? What step would most benefit you? So step one, determine what you'll be preparing or doing. Step two, determine food and ingredients you will need. Step three, determine tools and other supplies you'll need. Step four, determine how you can contain your messes and what techniques you will use. And we'll explain more about these and what they look like here shortly. But again, remember to be thinking about which step you need the most that could really help you do better with your food preparation.
Tyson, you have a couple of comments in the chat. Donnie said something about PBJ goes fast. And you also have a student with their hand raised. I didn't know if you wanted to take questions now or if you wanted to wait.
Let's address the PB&J cooks fast, and then we can do we can take a comment. That would be great. Okay. So Donnie, PB&J cooks fast. So yes, that is really important to realize that, like, making a PB&J sandwich could be a lot faster than maybe making a ham and cheese sandwich. That's a very good observation. Thank you, Donnie. And what's the other comment that we have at this time?
Isabel has her hand up, so I just opened up her mic.
Lower hand button. So one way to help me plan meals for the week is to make menus or lists to help remember what we're going to have for dinner each week.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. I think that is a very important step. And that helps.
And grocery lists to help remember what we'll need from the store.
Yeah, especially that's like part of that pre-step that we were talking about, that pre-thinking about before we start to cook, do we have everything that we need? And if you have a routine where you do that, once a week and maybe Sunday or Monday or whenever you do that,
Yeah.
you can get all of your stuff prepared and ready to go for the week and know that you have what you need. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
Raise hand button.
back to the basic action plan that we're talking about. Again, hopefully you've had a chance to kind of
Currently
think
unmuted.
about one thing or one step that would help you the most right now with where you're at. So we will go over these a little bit more. So again, along with containing your food messes, this would involve techniques that you're using to help you contain that. So like maybe you're using a cookie sheet or a towel or a storage bin or one of those things to help you stay organized. So how you might do that is if you have a cookie sheet, you might have it organized to where you have, like, if you're cutting food, for example, you could have your cutting board on the front, your knife at the top, the food you haven't cut on the bottom left. On the top right, you're going to put all of your garbage when you're, the stuff that you're going to throw out after cutting. So, or maybe you're using a cookie sheet just to put your ingredients on or to measure with. So we'll go more over how to utilize a cookie sheet and a towel as well later. Also, dividing the table into sections can be a good way to help contain your mess. And so you can do that with placing just like tape over the table or something to help you establish boundaries of where things are on the table. And that might help you kind of stay more organized, kind of like putting a towel down or a cookie sheet. Okay, other techniques would be like using a mixer to shred your chicken, or shredding chicken with scissors, using a food processor while you're cutting or chopping up your food, or maybe you're going to do it by hand. So all of these are parts that you would include in your action plan for techniques that you might use to either help you accomplish your task or to help you maintain your area a little bit cleaner. Okay, and then the last step to making an action plan is probably one of the most important, and it's determine what needs to be prepared first, second, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and so on. So you have to know exactly what you're doing from start to finish. So which steps do you need most? I want everyone to put in the chat a 1 through a 5 to tell me which step you need most. So I'll go over them again. So step 1 is determining what you'll be preparing. 2 is determine food and ingredients you will need. 3 is determine tools and other supplies you need. 4 is to determine how you can contain your messes and what techniques you'll use. 5, determine what needs to be prepared first, second, third, and so on, basically making those steps. So which of these steps do you need the most? Lilith says 4. Donnie says 1, 2, 5. So it sounds like going through all of them would be useful and what he needs most. Good. And again, if you're not live, I want you to think about which step you need most right now. Jaden says 4, I can't find anything. Yes, that can be a real challenge, keeping track of things and locating them. Good, I'm glad that you guys are all thinking about this and helping identify what you can use the most, because really that's how you're going to get the most out of this, is by applying this to yourself and making sure that you're aware of what you need so that you can improve that. Okay, let's talk about another thing that's really important when it comes to food prep skills. That would be debriefing after you've made your food or after you've executed your action plan. And so I want you to think about why this could be important. Take a moment and think about that. Why would this be important to debrief and think about how things went? Yeah, so taking time to debrief can really be useful for helping you know what went well and what didn't go well. It can help you when you're planning for next time. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mike. Or sorry, Jet, let's see. Mike said that it will be so we can be more prepared for next time. So I was just about to say that. You read my mind. Thank you. Lilith said to see if your plan worked. Yes, all great things. So let's see what we had gone. So these are some questions you might debrief and ask yourself. What did not go well? What things would you change next time to make the cooking process easier and cleaner? What worked and was worth remembering? So let's talk about those a little bit more. So what did not go well? So maybe while you were cooking, you had the vegetables done first and they were sitting in the microwave and you hadn't quite finished your chicken that you were cooking on the George Foreman. And so by the time you got your chicken done, you went to get your vegetables out of the microwave and now they're cold. So that might be something that didn't go well. Or maybe you had a big explosion. You spilt flour all over the table, or you spilt rice and it went from the table to the floor to the stairs going all the way downstairs because it just bounced and slid everywhere. So that's something to think about. What didn't go well? And then you might think about, well, what would you change next time to make that easier or cleaner? Maybe next time I'll use a cookie sheet. So if I spill my flour, it will land on there and I'll know where that ended up going. And then, you know, we make note of what's one thing that's worth noting that worked well. So that way next time we can implement that into our plan. So it's super important that you debrief and go through a checklist of some sort to help you know what you can do better next time. Let's go over an example of kind of what an action plan might look like. We've done some talking about what's included in an action plan and how important that is. But let's kind of see a real life example of what that could look like for someone. So step one, let's come up with what we're going to make. Let's say we're going to cook top ramen. So we figured out what we're cooking. Now let's think about the ingredients and the food that we're going to be using. So we need to get a top ramen packet of some sort. Maybe we're going to get like the cup of noodles that has like the ramen in it, or maybe we're going to have the packets of ramen that you have to open up. So it's important to kind of think about, well, what do I have? What are my options? Also, we are going to need some water to add in there. So that's probably all the ingredients in food. It's not a whole lot that goes into that. Now let's think about the tools and supplies we might need while making top ramen. We might need a pot, a fork, a ladle, a bowl, a stovetop, paper towel, a towel, a cookie sheet, kind of just listing things that we might need. So we need some cooking utensils. We need a pot. We need, you know, some of these things that are listed here. Okay, so now the fun part. We're going to go over more of the steps that we're going to do. How are we going to go from this ramen packet that is all crunchy and hard and not super edible in this state to having a nice, tasty, warm bowl of soup? So step one, maybe what we'll do is we'll gather all supplies and food and ingredients. So first, let me explain what you see on the screen here. So on the screen, there's a chart here that has one column with steps on it. To the right are the techniques that go along with those steps. And the next column to the right, the furthest to the right, is for those steps, how are we going to contain the mess for that step or technique that we're using? So that being said, step one, we're going to gather all the supplies, food, and ingredients. We're just going to get it all together. So the technique we're going to use to help us stay more organized is we're going to place that all on a cookie sheet or some other designated spot. So that way we don't lose track of where they are. So now how are we going to contain our mess and stay more organized? Well, we're going to put the pot on the upper left corner. We're going to put the cooking utensils in the upper right corner. We're going to put the ingredients in the bottom left corner of the cookie sheet. And then once we're done and when we have our trash that we opened up, we're gonna put that on the bottom right corner. So that will be our step one. We're thinking about this. And maybe at first, rather than thinking about this, we're writing it down. So we'll have some time to practice this later. But while you're making these steps, it will be important to really kind of think about it and maybe write them down first. So the next step that we're doing is we're going to be opening the ramen packet and we're going to put it into the pot. So what technique do we want to use for that? Well, I think I can open a ramen packet with my hands. I don't think I really need scissors or a knife to do that. So I'm going to tear that bag open with my hands. Now, when I tear that open, maybe some of that ramen will come flying out and will make a little bit of a mess. So how am I going to contain that? Well, I'm going to do that with a cookie sheet underneath where I'm opening that packet. So I'll open it up, and if something spills out, it'll go right on that cookie sheet and I can find that a little bit easier. And then I'm going to put that into the pot right from there so I can not spill it anywhere else in case it's a little bit crumbly inside of that packet. So the next step, I think I'm going to grab my fork and ladle seasoning packet that came in the ramen, and I'm going to put that to the left of the stove. So how I'm going to kind of stay organized and contain my mess with that is I'm going to put a towel to the left of the stove so that I can more easily find my fork and my ladle and that ramen packet. I'll know that's on that towel on the left side of the stove. And also, while I'm cooking, I think to help contain my mess, if I'm using a fork or a ladle or something during the cooking, if it's wet and been used, I'm going to put it on that towel when it's not in use for two reasons. One, it's going to help keep my counter a little bit cleaner so I don't have to clean anything up. And two, it's going to help me locate and find those things a little bit easier after I've been using them in the pot. All right, the next step, I think I'm going to add water into the pot. So the technique I would like to use for that is I'm going to fill the pot with water while the pot is sitting in the sink. That way I don't have to like carry a big, measuring cup of water over, and it's just one less cooking utensil I have to use. So maybe how I'm going to contain my mess with that is I'm going to fill the pot slowly and with just enough water to cover the noodles. Because if I fill that up too much, that pot might boil over and start to make a mess on the stove. So that's how I'm going to contain my mess a little bit with adding the water. The next step, I'm going to bring the pot to the stovetop and set the burner to high. And my technique for doing that is I'm going to match the burner size with the pot size. Because if I have a really small pot, I don't really need to put that on a really big burner because that's going to create extra heat and maybe make it boil over a little bit faster. Or if I have a really big pot, I don't want to put that on a little tiny stovetop or a little stove burner because it's going to take a lot longer for that to start to cook. So how am I going to contain my mess after I bring the pot on the stovetop and turn the burner on to high? Well, if I notice that it starts to splash a little bit and it starts to boil, I might turn that temperature down just a little bit to make sure that that doesn't boil over. So hopefully you're starting to get the picture of what it looks like to create some steps and to think about what techniques you're using and how you're going to contain your mess. So we could keep going on and on with this example, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of kind of what that meant and what it looks like to create some steps for your action plan. Okay, now it's your turn to practice. So we are going to take 3 minutes to come up with prep steps for making a ham and cheese sandwich. So if you are not live, I want you also to participate in this. You won't be writing in the chat, but maybe you're saying these steps out loud to yourself, or maybe you're writing them down with a voice memo or however you decide to do that. But for everyone else who's live, I would like you to take steps, to type your steps in the chat, and we can come up together with the steps that it takes to make a ham and cheese sandwich. So here goes our timer. We're going to set that for 3 minutes and let's get going. be thinking about those steps that you need to make that sandwich. What's step 1? What are you going to do next? Is there anything you're missing in your steps or your plan to making that sandwich? About 15 seconds left. Last minute thoughts. Anything else? Perfect. Thank you everybody for participating and typing your responses in the chat. Let's go over a few of those things that we came up with. Okay, I see. Donnie says to get stuff out, ham, cheese on bread, and eat the sandwich. Yeah, so you had a few of the steps on there. There might be a few things missing in those steps, but it all depends on how do you like your ham and cheese sandwich too. So I like that you're thinking about getting the things out and ready first. Okay, and Mike says you need 2 pieces of bread, ham and cheese. Good, Mike. I like that you were thinking about what supplies you need specifically. Jaden says, first clean off the counter. Awesome. Thank you, Jaden. I like that you're thinking of those prep steps. What do I need to do before I even start?
Currently unmuted. Alt+A button.
So one thing that you can do is get out some condiments that you'd like on your ham and cheese sandwich.
Yes, thank you, Isabel. That is another thing that you can do is get out those condiments. You know, ham and cheese doesn't just have ham and cheese on it, right? We have
folder
condiments.
view.
Perfect.
Sorry, my computer was acting a little bit weird.
That's all right. Well, let's go over a few more of these that other people talked about. I see another one that says 1, clean the table, 2, unpack the bread, and then cheese and ham. Good. And then Lilith said, gather cheese. I want cheddar, ham, and bread. Put 2 pieces of bread on the plate, put ham on 1 piece of the bread and cheese on the other. And then, or spread condiments on the bread first. Good. So that was something that Lilith thought about after. I really like that you kind of went through those steps one at a time. Like, what order would you do it? And then while you're doing it, you thought, oh, well, I forgot. Maybe I want to put some condiments on there. That brings up a good point. Sometimes when you're making your plan and you start to do it, you realize, oh, I forgot something. And that's okay. That happens. But it's important that we think about as much as we can first, and then we are willing to adapt and change our plan as we go. But good job, everybody. We'll have more time to practice this later. Okay, in our plan, let's think a little bit more about, did we remember to, while you were doing this, did you remember to list the ingredients in food? Check. I think I saw some people doing that. Did you remember to list some of the supplies that you needed? A knife, a spoon, paper towel, cookie sheet, I don't know, whatever you were going to use. I think we got some of the supplies, but we might have been able to do a little bit better with some of those supplies. Did we determine strategies for staying organized and keeping your messes contained? And we didn't think about that one a whole lot. And then do we think about the specific techniques that we would be using? Did we make a prioritized and ordered set of steps? So I think we were getting on that one a little bit. So very nice. Okay, so I want you guys to start practicing that a little bit more while you cook. And in fact, that will be one of our extension activities that I'll introduce later. But I want to encourage you guys, you can all make this a habit. I know you can do it. It's a little bit challenging because it's a lot to think about. And sometimes we haven't done it before, but you can make this a habit. So to help you do that, maybe start off by making detailed plans for a simple task first, kind of how we did this making a sandwich. If that one was a little bit challenging for you, maybe we just do it as simple as, how are you going to eat a simple breakfast that you don't have to prepare as much, like eating some yogurt and a piece of toast. Another thing you might do is write it down and repeat your plan out loud. Maybe another way to do it. So if it takes too long to write that down, then you might just practice saying it out loud and repeating that over and over again to help you think about what you're doing before you do it. Another thing that will help you with making this a habit and help you be more successful is follow your plan and track what worked and what didn't work. If you are debriefing at the end of it and finding out what's working and what's not, then this will be more effective for you, and you're going to be more willing to give it a go because you know it's something that really helps make the process easier and better. So now remember, again, like I talked about earlier, you can't plan for everything, and your plan almost always evolves. It's always changing as you're going. So be flexible and stay busy. You don't want to sit there. I don't know if anyone's heard the phrase sitting around watching the paint dry. So that's something that, if many of you know, paint takes quite some time to dry. So we don't want to sit there and wait for that paint to dry when there's stuff that we could be doing while it's drying. So same thing with cooking and preparing your food. Stay busy. Make sure that you are doing something while you're cooking. If you're waiting for your water to boil, for example, you don't need to sit there and listen and wait the entire time. Maybe you have a couple minutes to go grab a couple extra things. So be flexible and stay busy while you're doing it. Again, practice, practice, practice. It will get easier and faster as you do it more and more. And be deliberate about what you're doing with your plans. I want everyone right now, commit yourself to say, I can do this. I am going to make this more of a habit and start doing this because it's going to help me improve my cooking and food preparation skills a ton. So commit yourself right now. All right. Now, one thing I'd like to discuss is how we can use a recipe to help us make our action plans. So first off, I want you to think about what information is found in most recipes. Maybe throw that in the chat. What information do you find in most recipes? And if you're not here live with us, think about this as well. Tell your friend or your neighbor if they're close by, what is found in most recipes? Lilith says ingredients, supplies, and prep time. Very nice. Yeah, all things in most recipes. And the type of ingredients. Jeff says the type of ingredients. Donnie says directions. Jaden says prep steps. Mike says the amount of ingredients. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, those are all very good things that are found in a recipe. And that sounds a lot like our action plans. So recipes in a way are kind of like a food prep plan already made for us. However, a lot of times for us, we need to take what's in that recipe and maybe adapt it and figure out what our plan is exactly, because we might need to do things a little bit different than what the recipe says. But there's a lot of good information in recipes. So always read through the entire recipe prior to cooking something new. This will help you as you're creating your cooking plan So that way you can know what to do first, second, and third, and so on. Because if there's a step that comes later, like add chopped potatoes to a pot, if you haven't had time to chop those potatoes up yet, then you're going to be in trouble because you have a pot on the stove already, it's boiling water, and now we need to add potatoes, but they're not chopped up yet. So now we have to go turn off the stove. So it's important to kind of read through that recipe and know what the whole thing is going to encompass before going. Okay, let's rate yourself now.
Currently unmuted. Alt+A button.
So I make recipes to help plan on baking stuff. Like on Thursday, Tyler and I made some chocolate chunk cookies. And Tyler and I looked for a recipe to help figure out what stuff we needed. And we used a cookie sheet to help keep track of our stuff.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. So let's rate yourself now. Have everyone think about, on a scale of 1 to 4 again, how well can you do these prep steps? How well can you make an action plan? 1, I have no idea. 4, I'm superstar independent. Good. And if you're not here live, again, I want you coming up with a number. I'm seeing some 4s and some 3s, so it looks like some improvement. Also some 2s, that's okay. We can keep working at this. And again, these will be recorded, so you can revisit this later to help you remember how to do some of these things. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so let's go over some general measuring techniques. So here's like our action plan for techniques we might use while measuring. I'm gonna get in the meat of this. So always have a towel, a cookie sheet, or a sink as you splash and as your splash and spill control area. We don't want to mess everywhere like we talked about earlier. Also, when you're measuring, you want to have a level surface. You want to select the correct tool. And the question is, when should you be exact and when can you cheat? So flour, let's put an E for exact or C for cheat in the chat if you think we need to be exact or you can cheat when you're measuring flour. And what I mean by cheat is you don't have to be exact with the amount that you put in. You don't have to have a perfect 1 cup measurement. You can have just a little bit less, or you can have a little bit more. So flour, can you be exact or cheat? I'm seeing an E, very nice, that is correct. Most of the time with flour, you need to be exact. How about with spices? Exact or can you cheat? C for cheat, E for exact. I'm seeing an E for exact. This one's a little bit tricky. You could be at an E or a C for this one. Good, I see a C as well. You can cheat with spices most of the time. Sometimes though, you don't want to put too much in. You just need to be careful with the spices. But most of the time you can cheat with spices. How about chocolate chips and when you're making chocolate chip cookies? Have some C, you can cheat. Yeah, you can cheat most of the time with chocolate chips. Baking powder. So we could go on and on, but yes, that's kind of what you need to think about. Do you need to be exact or can you cheat? So there's some other ideas, salt, oil, milk, all those things. So think about whether you need to be exact or whether you can cheat. That is important. Okay, measuring liquids. I want you to think about what people use to measure liquids with. And what kind of liquids do people measure? You don't need to write it in the chat or anything. I just want you thinking about it. Now, most people will use like liquid measuring tools to measure liquids. Sometimes they'll use just a regular measuring cup or a measuring spoon. Also, it could be useful to have like tactile measuring lines while you measure. We'll go over that shortly. So let's think about how people measure liquids. They use a level surface, and that level surface could be a table, could be the bottom of the sink, or one of my favorite parts is the middle divider between a 2-part sink. It's That's a really good flat surface. If you're filling something with water, you can set your pot on, you can set a measuring cup on, or something else to help you find a level surface. All right, some other ways you might measure liquids is using your fingers to measure, similarly to how you would fill a cup of water. So if we have a tactile measuring cup or tool that can, you can place your finger on there and feel when that liquid gets up to the level that you want. Or you're feeling the top of the like measuring spoon to know. And we're going to practice this shortly. So you could also have visual or tactile markers like I explained to help you see better and use whatever vision you have to know what measuring utensils you're using and also if you're filling it full enough. So again, you might want to use a towel or cookie sheet to stay clean and organized. So another thing to really consider when measuring liquids and really anything else is think about what manufacturer containers your liquids are stored in. So those containers aren't always accessible. So like milk comes in a big jug, you have oil, vinegar, heavy cream, all these things come in big containers that might be challenging to pour from. Maybe you can do it, maybe we need to adapt that, right? Is there anything we can do to make that more accessible for you for pouring it? So maybe use a squeeze bottle or a smaller handle on something. But I'll show you just some examples here of what you might do. So let's practice this a little bit. So I want to show you this first. If you have supplies ready, you can practice this after. However, you likely won't have much time right now to do that. So I want you to rewatch these and practice this again later. And again, if you're not live, you can pause and get the stuff out and ready if you'd like, or you could rewatch it and practice these. But here's some techniques that I use for measuring liquids. Now, I want to just remind you, these are just some techniques. It's not the only way to do it. There are many ways to measure liquids and to measure. So again, I'm going to show you kind of roughly how I do it, and then I want you to practice this at a later time as well. So we're going to shift on over to our other camera here and show you kind of what that looks like. Okay, so what we have here is first, I'm going to start off with my liquid measuring cup. So I really like this one. For those of you who are unable to see it very well, it is kind of an angled one. So if you have it on a level surface, if you're able to read the numbers on here, you don't have to like put your head way down low to look at where it is and see if it's level. You can have your head just straight up, normal how you are standing, and you can look down and see where the measuring unit is. And so again, this is more angled here, so you can see how it goes. It angles down, and it's not just like a flat measuring cup. So again, another part I have in this measuring cup is I put a little piece of glue in here on the 2-cup measuring spot. You could put this on whatever measurements you use most. So if you use 1 cup or 2 cups or 3 cups, you could put your marks wherever you'd like to have. Now, so this glue that I put on here, I also put a little bit of flour on it to help it be a little bit more tactile and also a little bit more visible. So I'll kind of bring this up close. Not sure if you'll be able to see this super well, but right here is where I put that mark with glue, and it didn't take a whole lot of time to do that. So if I'm measuring this, I'm going to have it flat on the table. I have a towel placed out on the table with all my supplies on it. So if I spill, it will be contained on this towel, and I can just go wash the towel. So now I'm going to measure this. I have some water inside of this cup here. And are you able to still see my screen here? Sorry, can everybody see what I'm doing? There we go. Okay, good. So I wanted to show you this. I have this water bottle that I'm using to squirt water, to measure some water out of. You can use this, or you can use other bottles like this to help you measure. This one is just like a squeeze bottle that you can buy in the store that has an open lid. It doesn't open or close. It just kind of has a very small tip on the end that you can just tip it up and pour out of. So it will come out if you tip it, but it's not going to come out super fast. So it's really nice to have. So I'm going to use this water bottle to show you first. I'm going to put my finger here on my mark on my two cup measuring spot. And I'm going to start to tip this on over and start measuring up to 2 cups here. So this is nice. I kind of squeeze it and fill it. And hopefully you can kind of see this at all a little bit. I put some food coloring in this, so for those of you who can't see, you might be able to see it a little bit better. But I can just measure this by putting it in. So the nice part about this is it goes nice and slow, so I can kind of lift my bottle up quickly if I need to, if I'm getting a little bit close, or I can keep going as needed. And just keep measuring. I'm just feeling that mark on there, and I'm waiting to feel that water get up to my 2 cup measuring mark. And I'm almost there, it feels like. Okay, and now I can kind of feeling it right there. So now I have my 2 cup measuring spot, and I'll bring it up a little bit closer if you can see that there. So that's roughly how I did that. Okay, again, I had my towel out, so if I had a mess, it goes on the towel. I also had an easier pouring tool, so that way I didn't make a big mess with that. So that made things a lot easier. Let's talk about maybe if we had to do oil or something, or if we're going to use a tablespoon. So how I might do that is I have a cup out. 1 cup is faced how you normally have it, like you're going to eat a bowl of cereal. Now I have another cup that I put upside down on the towel. I'm going to take my 1 tablespoon measuring device, and I'm going to put it on top of my bowl that is upside down, because the bottom of that bowl is flat. And I have the part where I'm going to pour the oil into, or in this case, it's going to be milk, so you might be able to see it a little bit better. I'm going to pour that into the measuring cup, or into the measuring spoon here that is hovering over the open bowl. So that way I have the handle on a flat level surface. I'm also going to use my pointer finger to put right on the top surface of my tablespoon here. So I can feel once that oil or whatever liquid I'm measuring into this tablespoon when it gets up to the top. So now I'm going to take my milk here, which would be oil. And this is actually something I would store my oil in. Again, it's just that little squeeze bottle that has an open hole in the top that lets the liquid come out slowly. So now I can kind of get this lined up here. And if you're having a hard time getting it lined up, you can actually put the lid on it first, kind of put that the pouring surface out first, and then you can kind of bring it on down lower until you get back to your surface. And then from there, you can start to pour and feel where you're at. And again, if you make a little bit of a mess, it's okay, because you have your towel and your bowl here. And now I'm filling it up until I feel it at the rising to the top of my tablespoon. And now from there, I can pick it up and I have it here, and I can then transfer it over to whatever bowl I'm going to pour it into. So and ideally when you're pouring it, you're going to have your bowl or your pot or whatever you're measuring your supplies into right on this towel with you. So I'm going to use this bowl to put it into, because maybe I'm just going to measure it and put my supplies in this bowl. So then I could just pour it right into my bowl from there, and we go from there. So those are 2 techniques that you might use for measuring liquids. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something with that, and can maybe come up with some more ideas of how you can measure a little bit more accurately, and also be able to contain your mess a little bit more while you're measuring your liquids. But I think the 2 most important things is, 1, make sure you have a good liquid measuring cup that has some tactile markers on there for you, and that is bigger than the cup you're using. If you use just a regular measuring cup and you're filling that up to the top, if any of you have tried that, it spills and it falls all over the place, and now you're making a big mess, and it's hard to get an accurate measurement. But if you have a liquid measuring cup like this one that has a big space towards the top, because I haven't filled it full, I can carry this around wherever I need to, or I can just dump it right in where my bowl is. So that will help you with your liquids quite a bit. And the next technique, like we talked about, is having a level surface for both of those, especially when you're using tablespoons like this one. You want to have the flat part of the handle rested on a flat surface. So I used a bowl in this case, but what else could you use? Maybe you could use a box, or maybe you could use, I don't know, like really you could use anything else, like a Tupperware. You know, there's a lot of things that you can use. Be creative, but you need something that is flat and that can be level. So let's move on back. We're going to go back now. We're going to think about, in fact, we're just going to jump right into it. On the slides, I also have some other tips and tricks for measuring powdery foods. So we're going to jump into that right now without going back to our slide deck. So that way you can get an idea of what it looks like. And then I want you to go back to that slide deck. You'll have access to these. And I want you to look at the tips and tricks on there as well. So I'm going to shift some of these things out of our way and get our powdery foods. So think about what powdery foods could be, you know. The foods that I thought of, you know, would be like sugar, flour, baking soda. You know, all these things are kind of like powdery foods, or brown sugar, things that are kind of like granulated. So I'm kind of making that up a little bit, but powdery foods are kind of like that. So again, kind of similar techniques that you use, but with powdery foods, you don't have to be as precise about what you are, or like you don't have to be as level when you're doing powdery or solid foods when you're measuring, because they don't tend to fall out as easily. So I'm going to start off by doing some brown sugar. And again, I've thought about how my brown sugar is being stored. I have it in just a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. And the reason for that is because it's got a big opening on it, and I can fit my entire measuring cup inside of it to help contain my mess. Again, I have my cookie sheet down here to stay organized and stay clean. And now I have a 1/4 measuring cup. And so if I want to measure this, I can just stick my whole hand inside of the bag and push it all in there. And I have my other hand on the outside of the bag here, where I am able to kind of push that brown sugar into that measuring cup, and I can just pack it in there. And if any of you have used brown sugar, you know that you need to pack it. You don't just lightly put it in there. So this is nice because I can just stick it right in the bag. I can pack it in there, and then I can kind of just get it as full as I need to. And again, you can open up the mouth of the bag and have it open, and you can kind of feel in there to check, see, okay, I'm putting my finger across the entire surface of the measuring cup just to see if it is covering the whole area. So I'm feeling around the whole surface. When you're doing powdery foods, it's more important that you really check and you feel the entire surface of the area that you're measuring, just because you might have some gaps that you're not aware of. And so you need to know the whole shape of your measuring cup, which this one is round. So I want to feel the whole surface to make sure. Another technique I'm going to use is I'm going to use a knife, the back side of a knife, to help me to smooth off and level off the surface to get it a little bit more exact. So now I have the knife upside down on top of the measuring cup, going across both sides. So one edge is on one edge of the knife is on the edge closest to me of the measuring cup, and the other edge is on the other part of the knife is on the furthest edge of the measuring cup. Now I'm going to kind of slide it back and forth across all edges of the measuring cup, and now I have a really good 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So again, that's kind of how you do it. So I'm going to go ahead, and then if I were to measure this, I would have my pot right here close by, so I can dump it into my pot. Again, it's bridging that gap when I'm pouring so I don't have a big mess. So it's really close and easy to do right there. So that is one way to do brown sugar. Okay. Now, another way would be to do sugar. So if I'm going to do like a tablespoon of sugar, I have my tablespoon. I really like these tablespoons because you can adjust where they measure. There are lines on here that you can feel, and it goes 1 teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons, 2.5, and 1 tablespoon. So if you remember where those lines are, you can just kind of feel where they are with your nail and then slide that to whatever measurement you need. So I'm just going to do 1 tablespoon and slide it all the way open. And when I go into the flour, I stick it straight in and immerse the whole thing. So the whole thing is covered in it. I also have my thumb on the top part of the measuring spoon, closest to the handle. So that way I can feel if that really covered the whole thing. If it didn't, I need to stick it all the way back in there again and really cover it up like that. So now from there, I would also get my knife and I would do the same thing that I did with the brown sugar and use the back side of the knife, the flat part, and go across like that. You can also set your measuring spoon on top of the edge of your surface to help you keep a little bit more level with your measuring spoon. So I have the handle of my tablespoon on the edge of my big sugar bucket here. Notice how I also have a big lid here, so it's easy to stick my hand in there and to work with. That. Another thing I wanted to mention real quick is with leveling things off, you could use any surface. So like I have this baking soda that I opened up so it's a little bit bigger, so I can stick and immerse the whole thing in there. And then I can get it all full with air, and then I can lift it up towards the top of the lid here. And then I can just slide it across the top of the cardboard. And now I have a nice level half teaspoon of baking soda. So we didn't have time to go over a ton of these, so I want you to look back at the slide decks and look at the other tips and tricks that there are to helping you with your measuring your powdery foods. But with measuring your powdery foods, some things really to remember is that you need to have something to kind of level it off with. You really need to take your hand or your thumb or your finger or your pointer finger and feel the entire surface of what you're measuring to make sure that there aren't any low spots. And while you're measuring, it's really important that you really dunk that in there into the powdery food or whatever it is and really overfill it. By overfilling it, that's going to make sure that you don't have any low spots and then level it off. So feel free to look back at these videos again to get some more ideas and start practicing these things. Well, let's go back to our slide deck and debrief here a little bit. Okay. See if we can. Okay, I want you to tell me in the chat whether you agree or disagree with some of these things. So I know what an action plan is and I can make one. Do you agree or disagree? Good. Now, do you agree or disagree? Using a cookie sheet or a towel is essential for mess management and organization. And again, if you're not here live with us, I want you to be thinking about this. Do you agree or disagree with these things at this point? Also, finding a level surface is not important. Do you agree or disagree? I do not need to check my measurement for accuracy with my hand. Do you agree or disagree? Good. I'm glad I'm seeing some disagrees to that one. Also glad I'm seeing some disagrees with finding a level surface is not important, because it is. Good. Okay. So now I want you to think about why you said agree or disagree to some of those questions. So that sums up what we had to go over today. Again, I want you to look over these PowerPoints again and rewatch the videos here on some tips and tricks for measuring, and start making your action plans. But as an extension activity, I want you to create an action plan steps for preparing a simple meal. So I want you to list the meal, list the food and ingredients, list the supplies and tools. And the most important part, I want you to be listing the prioritized steps, techniques, and mess management. So again, I want to invite all of you to do that. You will have access to this PowerPoint and to this extension activity that you can work on. But thank you everybody for joining me for today's food preparation and basic food prep skills. I hope you learned something and had an enjoyable time. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.